Hello engineers, welcome back to another episode of Automate It. We are now working on World 3 Level 2 Panel in the Dark. We're not learning anything new, so let's just get into it. Just a singular map, so nothing too crazy. Receivers in the middle over here. We've got oil, we've got plastic, we've got aluminum, salt, got some liquids, and concrete. That's new. Cool. So we're going to learn some new stuff. What are we trying to make? We're trying to make solar panels, which we've made before, but also we just have to straight up deliver concrete. Our time that we want to do it in is 55 seconds or less. So whatever we're delivering, one should be enough. Alternatively, we can do this recipe or this recipe. Let's figure out what recipe we want to do for the solar panels. We can either do this recipe, which involves using the heavy water and the plastic, or we can do this recipe, which looks much harder. I like this recipe better. All we have to do is distill the oil, furnace the plastic, and then manufacture these solar cells. Is there an easier way to make solar cells? We need 60 per minute. That makes 60 per minute. That also makes 60 per minute. This requires us to furnace and press aluminum. This just requires us to cut the aluminum. Then we need to make polycrystalline silicon, which we can do using the oil and just straight up silicon in a dissolution chamber, which makes enough for us. Okay, isn't that better? Otherwise, we just use the silicon. Either way, we're using the silicon, but we can either do it with oil or we can do it with heavy water through 2 machines or oil through 1 machine. Let's just start with this one. Because we're making this already, we should just use this, right? And then we can split it later. So let's just put a distillation column on our oil first to start with. Okay, that's just in and out like that. And there, the purple output, the bottom one, is the oil that we need for 2 of our processes. One of the processes is mixing it in a dissolution chamber with silicon. Of course, our silicon is on the other side of the world. So let's just put a dissolution chamber on the silicon. What's the other one mixing with? The other one is mixing with plastic in another dissolution chamber. I'm going to move it a little bit, sort of just in the middle-ish for now. Like that. That gets our polycrystalline silicate. That needs to go into a welder with 2 lots of these cutters cutting aluminum at 120. We only have one source of aluminum coming out at 720. So that's 2 lots of 360 here. And we'll just stick another thing in here. And that will give us our 2 lots of 60. The 2 lots of 60 merges into 1 lot of 120 and merges with this to make our solar cell. So like say that. That's our 60 solar cells that we need. And that's all we need. So we need to furnace the plastic. That gets us our 60 plastic. But we need 120 for this process. So we need 2 furnaces. Like that. That's our 120 plastic done, and then we just need to put it all into a dissolution chamber. So we just work backwards from here. It'll be nice to get the dissolution chamber straight out like this. Okay, we know the full process. Let's just get rid of everything then. And then we just work backwards from where we want to be. So the final dissolution chamber goes here. No belt required. Into the final dissolution chamber, we need to put in our solar cell. And our solar cell requires this. Our solar cell comes out of a welder. So we can do something like that. Into the welder goes this thing. So do we even need this then? No, is the answer. There, that's the most optimal way to get that in. On the other side of this is the dissolution chamber. So something like that. But we do need to get this piping across here at some point. We can do it at height if we need to jump some stuff. And then the plastic needs to come across here as well. So we'll do it this way. That way it won't intercept the plastic. Make sure we cut this. So that gets us our solar cell. Then the plastic needs to go into another input here. And we just need to get the oil in. So like that. Then we can use this travel path to continue it on to here. And that's our final output at 60 per minute. Our power is well under. And we also have to deliver the concrete. Oh crap, the concrete. At 100 blocks in a minute 10. 100 blocks in 55 seconds. So if we deliver it at 120, maybe we hit 55? Maybe. That's just annoying. Like, there's like nowhere to put this. And that intercepts this, doesn't it? No, it doesn't. So basically that. But can we deliver this fast enough, or do we need to upgrade this? Is that not concrete? Concrete block. Sorry, we need to do something to the concrete. Oh, okay. That would have been too easy if we're just delivering the concrete. I'm an idiot. Concrete block is not just this concrete. This is just concrete, and we actually need to make a concrete block. Let's see what the path for making a concrete block is. We need a dissolution chamber again. 120 of the concrete. But we need multiple dissolution chambers for this because... yeah, we would need multiple dissolution chambers for this. This process is not super easy. Is there a better way to do this? If we make the liquid hydrogen chloride, we can do it in one dissolution chamber. But making liquid hydrogen chloride is very difficult. We need salt water. Yeah, we need salt and water. We got the water here. We've got the salt here. So it's all just roundabout crisscrossy majiggies. Great. Let's get this out of the way because I thought there was only one dissolution chamber, but now I'm thinking I want to do it here. Can I make this a little bit better? I can put this here and then do the dissolution chamber here. And then that can go in like that. That's not great either. That requires this crazy mess. And then that requires this to go backwards along here. If you're enjoying the video and you want to support Data Engineer Plays, don't forget to leave a like and hit that subscribe button. And if you have any feedback or suggestions, feel free to share them in the comment section. And then we want this like here, around the back this way. This dissolution chamber would go here. Oh, I don't like that. It creates more space for everything else. But and I'm not getting enough anymore. Okay. So that's still fine. This is a little bit horrible and messy, but we need to do some optimization there anyway. Let's get the other side of the process going. Or maybe we can get this coming out this way. That would be smarter. I've done that to clean up this area so we have enough room to make concrete blocks. Now I want to do the concrete block using this method, which means I need to get the salt water going. Salt water needs to go into another dissolution chamber. At some point, salt needs to come across here. Like this. And water needs to come across here. Like that. Is that not water? Apparently this is not getting water in. Why? We're getting the salt. Oh, right. Why? Why can't I do this? I have to go this way, like that. There we go. That's our this. Now we need to get our water into a biofluxor. Like that. From the biofluxor, we just need the hydrogen to mix with... Oh, we need to biofluxor this as well. Let's just move this out of the way first. Biofluxor over here. Alright, if we move this pipe out of the way, we can put the biofluxor into here. And then just mix this in like that. And then this just needs to be like this. And then we need a chemical infuser to put these two together. Oh man, this thing is massive. I want to put it here. Maybe. Get the gas going out here. That doesn't work. Move that out one. Like that. Like that. That gets us that, but then that needs to be biofluxed into liquid hydrogen chloride before mixing with the concrete in another dissolution chamber. How? Not enough space. Well, we could shift everything over to the other side. But what's the alternative solution to this? The alternative solution to this is to get 2 dissolution chambers going. We've got the concrete to support that, but it makes this a lot easier because then we just need the brine, and the brine just needs to go through a biofluxor to make that, and we don't need any of this, right? Because we've got the brine now, we just need 2 dissolution chambers. Like, say... Oh, where's my exit point? Also, it's there. So I want, like, say, 2... Oh, I can't really put 2. Like that and that would work. And then I can get my concrete in like this. I need 2 belts of 120 concrete. So if I just put a thing here and then upgrade it, and then put that there like that. That gets me my concrete in. Now I just need to get the liquid in. And that gets me my concrete blocks. And we just take it out here. I think that is a solution. And we've still got a lot of power to play with. But does this work? Also, this is a thing. This is an idle spawn time. Oh no. Yeah, okay, so that kind of works, but we haven't completed it within the time constraint, and it is because of this. Plastic has an idle spawn time. And the idle spawn time is most of it. So we're only getting a third of what this is, which is 80. And that's not enough to do this. We're only getting 80. We can only make 60 per minute. We can only make this at half the speed. Ugh, that's disgusting. Is half the speed even enough? Completed in 55 seconds or less. Because full speed it makes that. Was there an alternative way to do this that doesn't use plastic? There is an alternate way to do this that doesn't use plastic, but it uses liquid hydrogen chloride. So what we're essentially saying is, because of the squiggly line on this thing, this plastic is actually a debate and we should just ignore it completely. Instead, we're going to opt for this solution to make our 120 per minute of solar panels. Wait, this makes 120 per minute of solar panel? That's so much solar panel. So everything remains the same. We're still going to use oil, but we need to make this. We need to make the liquid hydrogen chloride because that's going to be used for both that and the concrete. So let's make the liquid hydrogen chloride first this time. So again, we need to dissolution the salt water. I'm just going to start it in the middle somewhere. Oh, should we just work backwards? We should just work backwards. I know ultimately we're going to need 2 dissolution chambers. One on maybe this side and one on maybe this side. No, let's just make the salt water as condensed as possible. Oh, it's so hard to decide. Alright, let's just make the salt water. So say we have salt water here. Salt water needs to go into a biofluxer. Like that to make brine. Oh, well, sorry, to make the chloride. And then we need more water to go into another biofluxer to make hydrogen. They both need to go into a chemical infuser. I'm going to do it like this. No, I can't do it like that. Can't do it like that. Oh, I can. I just need to move some stuff out of the way. Let's just put it here for now then. Get our gas pipes in. There we go. There's our hydrogen chloride, but that needs to go into another biofluxer. Ideally like this. Right, we need a 1 space gap for the biofluxer. So this tells me this needs to all move even further out. Like that. That way we can bring the gas pipe down. Wait. These are lined up perfectly. What am I doing? There we go. There's our liquid hydrogen chloride. Not the most elegant thing in the world. However, it works. And with our liquid hydrogen chloride, we just need to mix it in a dissolution chamber to make concrete. I'm going to do that there. Because it makes sense to just go here, right? Then the concrete can go here. And the liquid can go up 1 and out there. Like that. There's our concrete blocks done. Now with the concrete blocks done, the next thing that we need is to make the solar panel. And we definitely need our distillation column somewhere. That can just go straight onto here. We can probably turn it this way a bit. Because we don't need to use this little thing here. Now, at the end of the day, it's going to go into a dissolution chamber. Maybe here, maybe here. Right? It's actually going to go into a double distillation chamber. Oh, God. What does that go in with? With the silicon. And the silicon is all the way over here. So we put a distillation chamber here and a distillation chamber here. We still got enough input for everything else. Let's do this thing first then. We'll just keep in mind that we need that. So there needs to be oil and silicon to make that part. That's fine. Is there an alternate method of doing this that's better? We can do it in 2 biofluxors, but I don't think we have space to do that. I mean, 2 biofluxors, the good thing about doing that is they're next to each other, whereas the oil is like all the way over here. But we'll think about that as an alternative option. Let's just cut the aluminum first. So we need a thing here and then 2 cutters. That gets us this thing. That thing needs to go into a welder with this thing. Is there an alternative to making this? We can do it in a manufacturer. Why would I do it in a manufacturer? It's just more belts. I think a welder is better. Well, manufacturer is more compact, but a welder is easier to deal with, I guess. I'm gonna put my welder counterintuitively back here, because I can just link that there. And the other half of the welder is this thing, which is gonna come from a dissolution chamber. Like this, maybe? And then I can go around the back here. And that can go around out the back here. I mean, that works. Doesn't work the way I want it to work. I want the dissolution chamber facing this direction. That way the output goes out that way. And then that needs to cross here. So we'll put in a thing like this. Better to cross this thing. I think that makes a shorter path. Because then this thing now can just directly go into here. And now we just need to pipe this across to the dissolution chamber. But we'll do it like here. And then cut that part. And that should get us our this solar cell. That goes into a dissolution chamber with this. Oh, but then we're using the silicon over here at 120. And we're using the silicon over here at 120. That doesn't make sense. Oh man, this is the wrong one again. I mean, technically it's fine. We just need to bring the silicon because we don't need this producing at double pace because this produces at 120. We only need it producing at 60. So we're actually fine. We just need another dissolution chamber with the silicon and the oil. I'm confused. This is a dissolution chamber with silicon and heavy oil. Oh, this is a dissolution chamber with light oil and silicon. Okay. So we just need another dissolution chamber and the silicon is being brought over here. But if we were to split the silicon, say here, and then make another dissolution chamber, like say here, we can't bring both materials up because you can't filter liquids. But we can do this and then that. But then this thing is stuck. Oh god. That's terrible. I want to build this part better. Let's see if we can reorganize this part a little bit. Can we get this thing straight into this thing? You can't. That's that output done. And that still gets that out. Then if we just rotate this like that, this is not too much of a gap to bridge. Because this creates more room for us, right? So if I do this, that still works. That still works. We can optimize this part a little bit. Bring this all back one tile. Bring that up. Bring this back one tile, giving us a little bit more room to work out here. Because this is going to use a lift anyway, we can do a lift like this. Or the lift can be a little bit higher up. Like that. Then that can still do that, and that gets us our liquid hydrogen chloride, but gives us plenty of room to work out here. Now, this is coming out here. We can optimize this a little bit. Basically, this is going to need to split into 2 dissolution chambers. So let's get rid of these 2 dissolution chambers. Where can we put these 2 dissolution chambers? Oh, we haven't done the pipe for this yet. Hold on. There we go. That's that piping done. Now I need 2 dissolution chambers basically that takes in silicon, which the pathing for this is a little bit awkward. Let me get rid of all this because this is all whatever. I'm thinking I want it like here. If we did it, say here, right? That's the silicon into both at 60-60 because there's only 120. Then we need 2 pipes all the way from here. But instead of doing it like this, wouldn't it be more efficient to put this over here somewhere and then just run a long pipe? If we can weave a pipe out here somewhere, that'd be great. We can turn this a little bit like that. Then we can turn this pipe, say, we can actually put this in front if we wanted to. Not really. If we put this here, like that, put that there, put that like this, and then cut this. Get a pipe running around the back here. Like that. That gets us our 2 items at 30 each, which is fine because we don't need 60-60 of this. 30-30. And then this goes into a final dissolution chamber. Like that. At 30-30, along with liquid hydrogen chloride, which is coming out here. This feels like the right solution. What are we missing here? We're getting liquid hydrogen chloride. We're getting silicon diode. And Oh, right. No. We're still missing a process, a whole process. Oh my god. The silicon diode is all good, but we need to mix it with this process, which makes this thing in a welder with this liquid again. Oh god. So we need to take this thing into a welder with this thing. That's not very easy to do. How are we doing for power? This is definitely a good solution for power. We just need to fit all the machinery in. So the final dissolution chamber doesn't use this. We need to, well, it does use this, but let's move this back here. I'm gonna swap this to come in like this. And then the thing that comes out of this dissolution chamber needs to mix with this stuff. But we don't need to make 60 of this, do we? Because we're only making 30 of these. So we only need to make 30 of these, which means we only need half of this. Because we're only making 30 of these, so we only need 60 of these. So which means we only need a cutter here. And then we can fit maybe a welder, but then no dissolution chamber. We can fit a welder like this. Oh god, how do we fit everything? Let's move this pipe out of the way. We can do this pipe around the back. It's the same, right? Then at least the welder can be like back here. Damn, this is actually really hard to fit. If we're doing this build over here, then we don't need to, we can move all of this out of the way. We're using up way too much space with this part of the build. We got a little bit tunnel visioned over here. So if we take this part of the build as far back as possible, like that. Let me just cut this pipe. Take this part of the build as far back as possible, like such. We'll get the water pipe going a little bit around the back. Like this. And this. That's not right. Let me redo this water pipe. Like that. And like that. Something is wrong. Because the salt is not coming in here. Like that. Why did we need to elevate this twice? I don't remember, but let's just leave it. We'll optimize that down later. Okay, now that gets us our liquid hydrogen chloride. We can even move this dissolution chamber back a bit because the belt here and the belt here makes no difference. Is there a height difference here? Yeah, there is. Like that. And like that. Now we've moved the concrete process all the way out of the way and detangled it. And we can bring the concrete in however it wants to be brought in at the very end. Now we've created more space over here to do things. So it would make sense for this process to be like somewhere here. I'm just gonna put this here for now. So I can visualize what's going on here. So if I put my splitter now here, and then my other dissolution chamber like here. Then that gets our silicon into our dissolution chambers. One of these dissolution chambers needs to directly make this, and one needs to make this. So let's take the light oil, let's take this like that, and then we'll bring the light oil down and up like that and like that. There we go. Now we've got the diode, which is the final thing that goes in, and then this thing that needs to go into a welder. So now we should definitely be able to fit a welder in somewhere. It's still hard to fit in a welder. Like that. And finally, that just goes into a dissolution chamber. Like that. That goes in. We can like just belt around the back if we wanted to. No, we can't. We can belt around the back. And then we just need the oil in. The oil is coming from below. Or above here. This feels like the right solution. Like that. What are we getting here? We've got the oil, we've got the solar cell, and we've got the silicon diode. Oh wait, sorry. Not the oil. What am I doing? We need this thing. This liquid over here. So we take it up the top. Like this. And then down. Like that. That gets us our final product at 60 per minute, which should be fast enough to do this. Now we just need to wire in our concrete block. Which means we need to do something a little bit differently here. Can that go over? Yes. And then down. And now concrete block can go in here. That's everything. That's the solution, I think. Wow, that took way longer to optimize than I thought. We had like an initial solution that was super fast. I don't even know if this gets us our time, but things are being produced now. Yeah, our solar panels are definitely hitting the time. Our concrete blocks are a little bit slow. Why is our concrete block slow? Let's have a look at our concrete blocks and see what's going on. We're making 120 per minute, and we're making that. Why would it be so slow to start up? Because all of this starts up almost immediately. How's our power? 750 or less. So what if I think it's the salt that's taking time to get there. If we run it in slow motion, when is our concrete blocks whirring up? So the concrete is already there. The salt has just arrived. And that whirs up that. And now that pumps the concrete block out. Yeah, so it's the salt. But we have tools at our disposal that can fix this. Namely, just by upgrading the speed of these belts. Getting the salt there twice as fast. That looks like they're going at the same speed now. We got it under time, but I don't think we got it under the 5-star time. We just need to optimize a little bit less, a little bit more, a lot more. 1 minute and 6 seconds. We need to shave off a lot more time. Which is fine, because we have power. What we can do is just cut down this area. Essentially what we need to do, given that we have power and not enough time, is get this thing going instantly. So if we put the dissolution chamber, let's just be extreme about it, and put our dissolution chamber here, and then route our water pipe, say, 1 second. Oh, let's just be extreme about it. If we run out of power, we run out of power, right? There. And then we should probably rotate this. Need to flip that around. Flip that around. Like that. And then get the hydrogen in around this way. And that should still be the same, but now our water thing should start instantly, because if we start it up, you can see all liquids start up instantly. And now this starts up instantly, even before the concrete hits. So in theory, that should be faster. Are we under power? Yeah, we're still under power for this. So by starting it up instantly, that should help us reach our 55 seconds. Nope. Better. 1 minute and 1. So we're 5 seconds off now. It is definitely the concrete that's slowing us down. Let's see if it is the concrete. Let's validate that theory. Now the concrete starts faster than the solar panels. The solar panel's taking too long to start up. I'm going to slow it down to see what finishes first. Solar panels is done. Concrete is still delivering. So now I want to see what is causing the concrete to slow down. 5 seconds here. So what if we just upgrade this belt then? Let's see what time we get here. So we're basically kicking off the concrete ASAP. Is it enough though? Almost. We're 2 seconds off. Can we cut down the concrete distance even more? We can. We have to move this thing though. We'd have to move the dissolution chamber to here. That way the speed at which the concrete can come in is here. And then we can speed out the output of the concrete as well. And now I'm scared that we're using up way too much belt. Because that would have to... Wait. Probably easier if we went around this way. Like that. Now we're using up too much power though. 726. No, we're not. Let's try that optimization. So that's like instant concrete basically. Let's slow it down to see what finishes first now. Still the concrete is slowing us down. Very close. I think we're like 2 seconds off. 1 second off. How do we get concrete even faster than this? What? The only thing I can think of... This is already the minimum travel time for concrete. Like, to get from here to here. How do we... I mean, given this is already the minimal travel time for the concrete, there literally is not any faster way to get the concrete started by 1 second, right? Because literally everything is whirring up as fast as humanly possible. And we're still 2 seconds off. It leads me to believe we need 2 of these concrete machines. Oh, that's going to be such a burden. So let's get rid of this. But the good news is we should be able to fit 2 concrete machines here somewhere. We can do 1 here. Let me just get rid of this one as well. Just getting rid of this pipe to clear because we can pipe this in from any which way. Just figuring out where to put 2 dissolution machines. 1 here, 1 here. Put the splitter here. We can save power by not using level 2 belts anymore because surely with 2 machines we don't need to speed up the concrete anymore. Then we can get the liquid in like this. Like that, like that. There's our concrete blocks. Ah, but that's 360. So we do need to get this up slightly to get double speed. And then we need to connect this over somehow. Like that. How are we doing for power? Now we're over for power, aren't we? No, we're not. 120, 120. So we need to upgrade like these 2 belts. Let's run it and see. So surely we are okay for concrete. Our concrete is done before this even got started. Boom. 5 stars. Oh my god. That took like a lot of effort. Alright. 16. 11 for power. 13 for space. So nothing to be super proud of, but still doing well. I wonder if it tells me how many people are playing now. If it says I'm in the top 10%, does that mean there's only like 160 people on this leaderboard? So not many people playing this game yet. Let's have a look at the gallery to close things out. This design looks a lot cleaner than mine like instantly. But yeah, I see the 2 dissolution chambers for the concrete. They're using the plastic method. Why? How? How is he getting the solar panels in fast enough using this broken plastic? That's so weird. But apparently it's better and faster and uses less space. What? That makes no sense. I just overcomplicated this myself. Because if we were to use the plastic method, we would need 120 to make 60, but we only need to make we would need to make 60 per minute. Otherwise, It's too slow. So we need the 120 plastic. I feel like that would just be too slow. But apparently it's not. Apparently I'm wrong. Apparently this is just way better. So if you were to use the plastic method, you could do this much better than the way I've done it. But yeah, I'll leave that with you guys. I'm going to leave it here for now. Let's go on to the next level.